Welcome back to the dumbest bill in America. We have with us, of course, Delegate Brian Chisholm. Welcome back, Brian.
Good to be here.
So get this, podcast listeners. The mayor of Baltimore City, Brandon Scott, said that he signed a bunch of bills to make housing more affordable. You know, you just like sign bills and suddenly housing miraculously becomes more affordable, Brian. Here are some of the things he's doing. He's fixing the zoning code in Baltimore so you can build on smaller lots. He's eliminating one staircase for mid-sized buildings, Brian. Like if you build a building that's 4 to 6 stories tall, instead of 2 staircases, you only need 1. And then he's shrinking lot size, as I think I've mentioned already. And generally speaking, eliminating the parking requirements. So that'll go real well, right? So you won't have anywhere to park your car, but at least you have a place to live. So Brian, my question for you is, with Mayor Scott of Baltimore City, aren't there 13,000 empty houses already?
Yeah, and I think they give most of them away for free. Actually, they do have programs where you can get one for $1, and guess what? Nobody wants to buy them. I don't understand. That's as free as you get right there, you know? But it's still too expensive because you were talking about zoning. A lot of those aren't really gun-free zones, if you know what I mean. You might not want to be there in that zone, if you know what I mean.
So here's the question to the podcast listeners. The Democrat Party, Brian, is saying to the people of Maryland that they want to make housing more affordable. Sometimes they use the word more accessible, right? Well, accessible means affordable.
Right.
So I would agree with the Democrat Party at this point that houses are incredibly expensive. They're easily really expensive also to maintain.
Right.
Well, why is that? Well, because of the property taxes. Because in Maryland, the electricity bills, once you buy a place in Maryland, because you pay these really high income taxes and really high sales taxes. Actually, the Democrat Party, which has been in continuous control of the legislature for 100 years, has made housing unaffordable. And now they're like, well, housing accessibility is a problem. We're going to make it more affordable. I don't understand.
Their playbook is so easy to read. They create the problem and then they come up with a solution that maximizes the problem even further. That's what they do, right? They're the ones that, it's not the actual rent in Baltimore City. It's not even the purchase price, is it? It is really cheap in Baltimore City to buy a home.
It is.
I would love to know what percentage of homes in Baltimore City get some sort of subsidy. And it is a very, very large number. So actually buying or renting isn't expensive in Baltimore City. It's everything else that goes along with it.
Exactly.
It's the parking fees. It's the property taxes.
It's the property taxes. And so, as you just said, like you can buy one of these vacant houses in some cases for $1. In other cases, you can buy a house in Baltimore City that's also vacant that is in pretty decent shape and built with brick or stone. I mean, it would cost a lot to rebuild that place. You can buy it and it's $30,000. And for maybe another $75,000 to $100,000, you can have a fully renovated house to the extent that you're willing to do some of these things yourself. And then you own your own home. The problem is the property taxes are so expensive. The communities are fundamentally unsafe. And as you said, when you stack all of the taxes on top of each other, and then the electricity prices, it becomes virtually unaffordable. Does Brandon Scott want to fix that problem? I mean, does he want to fundamentally fix, Brian, the structure of taxes that are crushing people?
No, I think that Brandon Scott looks at this and they always work off of a zero-sum game. Brandon Scott says, well, all these homes are vacant. Guess how much money we got out of them? None. So we'll create even more houses and we'll force people to pay property taxes. So the magic question really is, Mark, do you ever really own your home in Baltimore City?
I love it. See?
I don't think so.
So listen to this, podcast listeners. This is important, what Brian just said. This is a key point. When you constantly have to pay property taxes and they keep going up, right? Every year they just keep going up miraculously. And you say to yourself, as Brian said, well, at what point do I own this place?
That's right.
I keep having to maintain it. I have really high electricity prices. Every time there's a repair, I pay for it, but then I have to pay the government to keep it. Otherwise, they're going to foreclose on me because I didn't pay property taxes, even in retirement.
And that's the interesting part, right? So tax liens are what's called a senior lien. They supersede your mortgage and everything else. So the city of Baltimore could say, you haven't paid your taxes in 2 years. we are going to foreclose on you. There's a little bit to the process. And guess what? The mortgage company is there sitting there holding the bag. That's why they want you to escrow, because they know a lot of people get put into this situation that they owe property taxes that they can't afford. Now, you look around the country, you look at Texas, you look at Florida. What are they doing? Hey, we're toying with the idea of getting rid of property taxes altogether for the same reasons we just brought up. And all Brandon Scott wants to do is just put his foot on the accelerator of more higher taxes, and they expect people to stay.
Yeah, and his solution is, well, we just need brand new housing, and the brand new housing, and we're going to make it easier to build that brand new housing, and suddenly everything goes away, all the problems go away. It's no, the basic structure of living costs in the city of Baltimore and the state of Maryland, for that matter, those are the problems that people have. That's why they don't want to stay in the state, and the Democrats have caused this. So when they have this false claim of, we want to make housing more affordable, it's nonsense. Podcast listeners, ask them, are you going to lower property taxes? Are you going to lower all the electricity taxes that are hidden and inside your electricity bill? Are you going to lower income taxes? And you know what their answer is going to be? Oh, no, we're not going to do any of those things.
Yeah, affordable housing, correct. Affordable housing is really a misnomer. There's no such thing. If it was just about the price of the house, then they would have filled those 13,000 homes. Are we correct on that?
Absolutely.
But what have we done in Baltimore City? And it's sad. We have created generational poverty where people can't even leave where they are right now. If they could, they would be gone. Baltimore City is one of the highest migrated out of cities in the country.
It is.
And it's only the people that can pick themselves up by their bootstrap and say, I've had enough. And what's Brandon Scott's idea? We need more generational poverty, so we're going to bring more people back.
And we're going to subsidize it and take your money from your property taxes and income taxes to subsidize more and more people who then, can live in places that you're paying for, rather than just create more economic growth. Final thoughts.
Yeah, I think Brandon Scott should maybe look at more affordable mayoral cars, because he just spent $168,000 on a Jeep Cherokee for some reason. It's like, maybe we should take half of that money and help somebody else.
Oh, it's a Jeep Wagoneer, that really massive SUV. Oh, but he's special. That's why he should have that, right?
Yeah.
He's the mayor. He's the king, right?
Let them eat cake.
And that's the dumbest bill in America. See you next time.